Wow, this week has felt like, well, a whirlwind, hasn't it?
Hmm,
Especially in AI.
absolutely. Just
It
relentless.
seems like every time you blink, there's another major announcement.
Yeah, it's a lot to track.
And, for professionals like us, trying to sift through it all, figure out what really matters for our work, that can be a real challenge.
It really can. Information overload is real.
So that's exactly why we're doing this deep dive today.
Good plan.
You've shared a ton of ground this week.
Oh.
I mean, potential shifts in semiconductor manufacturing, breakthroughs in med tech,
hmm
and AI is just like woven through everything.
It really is the connecting thread, increasingly.
Our mission today is basically to pull these threads together, highlight the key trends, and try to understand their impact, especially for business, with, a strong focus on AI.
Makes sense. Synthesize, find the patterns.
We've looked at a whole range of sources,
Yeah.
news pieces, blog posts, some interesting research reports, trying to get a comprehensive snapshot.
A good mix to get different perspectives.
And we're not just going to list things off, we're organizing this into themes. Hopefully that helps make sense of the bigger picture, how these different developments connect.
Yeah, looking at it thematically helps cut through the noise, I think. It lets us see the underlying currents shaping things, particularly for businesses adapting to this.
Okay, so let's jump right into our first theme then. It's all about how AI itself is evolving, the new models, new features, and how they're getting deployed. Seems like everyone's making moves.
Absolutely. The pace of advancement in the core AI models is, well, it's something else. Meta's Llama 4 is a great example this week.
Right. What stands out there?
Well, the language processing is better. It handles more parameters. Think of that as like more brain power.
Well, okay.
And the multi-language support is a big deal. It means businesses could potentially run much smarter AI solutions, maybe even on hardware they already have.
Ah, some more sophisticated chatbots, maybe better internal knowledge systems, without a huge new hardware spend.
Potentially, yes. That's the promise. More capable AI becoming more accessible.
And Microsoft's Copilot that seems to be moving beyond just a simple assistant.
Definitely. They're adding things like conversation memory, so it remembers what you talked about earlier, much less repetitive.
That's useful.
And then there's personal profiles, web browsing is integrated, it's got vision capabilities now, can even look through your camera in real time.
Whoa, okay.
Plus AI-generated podcast features. They're clearly aiming to make Copilot a real productivity hub.
Streamlining a lot of different tasks then.
And the-
What about the visual side? Midjourney version 7 sounded interesting.
Oh yeah, revolutionary, potentially. Voice-to-image generation is the headline feature.
Just speak an idea and get an image.
Pretty much. And they added a draft mode for quick iteration, for marketing, for design. This could seriously speed up creative workflows.
I can see that. Rapid prototyping for visuals. And Google Cloud AI. They seem busy too.
Always. They announced a new coding platform, their own Ironwood AI processing chips.
Building their own hardware stack.
Exactly. Plus, updates across the board. VO2 for video, Lyria for audio, Imagen 3 for image generation. It underscores their commitment to providing, a really powerful integrated AI toolkit for businesses.
A full ecosystem play. And Amazon, they had a new voice model, Novasonic.
Right. The focus there is low latency, quick responses, and better accuracy, especially in noisy places.
Like call centers or warehouses.
Precisely. And they're making it available on Amazon Bedrock at lower costs. So it opens up possibilities for more reliable, maybe cheaper, voice recognition solutions for businesses.
Okay, so the underlying tech is getting stronger, faster, more versatile. But it's really about how it's being used, isn't it, across different industries.
That's where you really see the rubber meet the road. Adobe putting AI like Generative Extend into Premiere Pro, that's a very direct impact on a video editor's workflow.
Making complex tasks easier, faster.
Exactly. And we're seeing it creep into finance too, though maybe more cautiously.
Yeah, I saw mentions of automated portfolio management, personalized client services.
The potential is huge there. But the sources also noted uneven adoption. Regulatory concerns are a big factor in finance, understandably.
Makes sense. Now, something really striking was the brain-computer interface news, helping a stroke survivor speak again.
Just incredible, isn't it? Truly transformative potential. Someone unable to speak for years regaining that ability. It's profound.
And the implications for workplace accessibility, communication tools.
Huge potential there, making workplaces more inclusive.
And speaking of healthcare, the accuracy rates for AI in cancer detection seem almost unbelievable.
That 99.26% accuracy figure for endometrial cancer detection, if that holds up and scales, it could genuinely revolutionize diagnostics, earlier detection, better outcomes.
A massive impact on healthcare systems. Then there's something like Samsung's Bally robot with Google Gemini inside. Feels like AI moving into our physical spaces.
Yeah, it's a tangible example of advanced AI getting embedded in, well, a home robot. Smart home automation, personal assistance. It opens up a lot of possibilities when you combine robotics and powerful AI like Gemini.
And it's not just the giants. DoorDash rolling out AI tools for restaurants.
Very practical stuff, helping with menus, writing descriptions, suggesting better photos for online listings.
Things that small businesses might struggle with.
Exactly. It shows how AI tools are becoming accessible enough to help smaller players improve their online game without needing, a data science team.
WordPress launching an AI website builder fits that theme too, right? Conversational setup.
Yeah, guiding users through website creation with conversation makes it much easier, much faster, lowering the barrier for small business owners or entrepreneurs to get online.
Even platforms we use daily, like Reddit, using AI now.
They're using Google Gemini for a new Reddit Answers feature, trying to pull out more accurate, relevant responses from all that user-generated content, using AI to enhance the user experience.
And Microsoft's Copilot, again, the visual capabilities, understanding the screen across different apps.
That's a big step. Getting real-time help related to what you're actually doing, no matter the Windows app. That could be a major productivity boost. Makes complex software potentially easier to learn and use.
Okay, so a huge wave of applications built on these improving models. Let's pivot slightly to the foundations, the infrastructure needed to power all this. Some big moves there, too.
Absolutely critical area, the Intel-TSMC partnership talks. That's major.
Aiming to boost U.S. production, right? But with some internal pushback at Intel.
Yeah, it highlights the massive strategic importance of semiconductor manufacturing for AI. The fact the White House is reportedly involved shows it's seen as a national security issue, too. The internal resistance. Well, it suggests big strategic decisions and potential disruptions are being weighed.
Partnerships of that scale aren't simple. And we saw big money flowing, too. Runways funding.
Huge valuation, reportedly $3 billion. For AI video generation. That shows incredible market confidence in that specific technology's future.
And Sandbox AQ getting backing from Google and NVIDIA.
That's a strong signal. Points to the growing opportunities in enterprise AI and also that intersection of AI and quantum computing, which is Sandbox AQ's focus.
Then there are potential headwinds. Proposed tariffs on chips from Taiwan.
That could really shake things up. A 32% tariff? That would ripple through the entire tech supply chain.
Affecting costs for everything AI relies on.
Exactly. It could drive up costs, create market volatility, and force businesses to rethink their sourcing and maybe even accelerate automation plans, ironically.
Which brings us to another point, the idea floated about powering AI with coal.
Right. The reported executive order plan from former President Trump, it really throws the massive energy demand of AI into sharp relief, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And the debate around how we meet that demand. Energy policy meeting tech development head-on.
With obvious environmental questions attached. It shows these things don't happen in a vacuum.
Okay, so a lot happening on the development, application, and infrastructure fronts. Let's move to our second big theme, thinking about the implications, the future, how businesses adapt.
Because as AI gets more powerful, more integrated, the questions shift to, okay, what does this mean? How do we actually use it effectively? How does it change work?
There was a blog post you flagged about effective AI implementation. Key takeaways.
Yeah, it really stressed aligning AI with actual business goals, not just tech for tech's sake.
Makes sense.
And integrating it smoothly into workflows, not creating separate AI silos, a big focus on data security, obviously. And importantly, viewing AI as augmenting human skills. Complementing expertise, not just outright replacement.
That seems like a crucial framing.
Yeah.
Shopify's move mandating AI proficiency for employees? That sounds bold.
It's pretty radical, yeah. Requiring employees to use AI tools, even justify when they don't use AI for a task.
Go.
It signals a fundamental shift in how they see operations. Could be a sign of things to come for other companies, especially in tech. Really restructuring the workforce around AI capability.
And linking back to the tariffs, the idea that they might actually speed up automation.
It's an economic argument. If imported components get way more expensive, investing in AI and robotics to reduce reliance on those parts and maybe cut overall production costs could start looking more attractive to some companies.
An unintended consequence with big implications for jobs and manufacturing.
Potentially,
So
yes.
businesses are definitely moving beyond just experimenting. They're making strategic shifts, rethinking work itself. Okay, final theme. The competitive landscape. Who's doing what? Who's partnering with whom?
Always a dynamic area. Competition is fierce, but you also see crucial collaborations forming. The Stanford AI Index report finding China closing the quality gap on AI models. That's significant.
Meaning the U.S. doesn't have the dominant lead it once did.
The gap is narrowing, according to that report. It suggests a more multipolar AI world is emerging. Faster innovation, maybe, but also more intense global competition.
And Europe is trying to position itself, too.
The European Commission has a stated strategy making Europe an AI innovation hub. They're investing, setting up research initiatives, and importantly, focusing on ethical guidelines and regulation that could shape things globally.
Right, the regulatory piece is key. What about partnerships and M&A whispers? OpenAI potentially buying Jony Ive's company, IO Products.
That's a really intriguing rumor. Suggests OpenAI might want to build its own hardware, maybe AI native devices. Leveraging Ive's design expertise could be huge for user experience, moving beyond just software.
That would be a big pivot. And Google's agent-to-agent protocol, helping different AIs talk to each other.
That's the idea. Create a standard way for AI agents to communicate and collaborate. If it takes off and other big players are involved, it could break down silos between different AI systems, more interoperability.
Leading to more integrated solutions. We already mentioned Reddit partnering with Google for Reddit answers. Clear value exchange there.
Classic example. Reddit has the massive data set and user engagement. Google brings the advanced AI. Win-win for enhancing Reddit's platform.
There were also those denied reports about Meta and China collaborating. Highlights the sensitivities.
Absolutely. Any hint of collaboration between major Western tech firms and China in AI gets intense scrutiny, underscores the geopolitical dimension.
And the OpenAI versus Elon Musk legal drama continues.
Yeah, the lawsuit, the countersuit, it reflects fundamental disagreements about AI's direction, governance, safety, high stakes playing out in court.
Talent is also shifting. Some former OpenAI leaders heading to thinking machines.
Right. It shows the ecosystem is still evolving. Experienced people spinning out to start new ventures, potentially challenging the incumbents, keeps the market dynamic.
And finally, NVIDIA and Stanford working together on animation tech.
Another example of collaboration pushing boundaries, this time in creative AI. Generating consistent long-form animation, that's technically challenging, shows AI impacting creative fields in new ways.
So wrapping this all up, it's clear this week was, well, another packed one for AI.
Understatement of the year, perhaps.
We've seen big leaps in the core models, an explosion of applications across industries, critical moves in the underlying infrastructure.
And this constantly shifting landscape of competition and collaboration.
For professionals listening, getting a handle on these interconnected trends feels, well, essential.
Absolutely. How these models evolve, how they get integrated into tools you use daily, the infrastructure bets being made, who's partnering with whom, it all feeds into business strategy and day-to-day operations.
It really does. The big question left hanging, I suppose, is how will these specific shifts impact your strategies, your decisions in the near future?
That's the question everyone needs to be asking.
Definitely something to mull over. And of course, to stay plugged into these fast-moving developments and get links to all the articles and reports we touched on today, make sure you subscribe to the Razor Report newsletter. Just head over to razor.co.
Essential reading to keep pace.
Couldn't agree more. Thanks for joining the deep dive.